All right, we are back on Morning Line. Thanks for joining us. We're talking about bees and beekeeping. This is the state apiarist, Mike Studer, and it's his job to basically monitor the hives here in the state of Tennessee. And, you know, when you said that every year nationwide we've seen a reduction of 30% of the hives, and that's disturbing to hear that number. Are there people, or how are we, you know, replenishing the supply? Is there ways to do this? Are there breeders that are really trying to kick it up?
Yeah, they're kicking it up, but they're also kicking the price up.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah,
as you know, the price of packages of bees and nukes of bees, and a nuke is just a small colony you can buy. Packages went from, what was $39, they're now, what, $130?
$130. Yeah.
And nukes were about $50. They're $150 to $200 depending on what you get. Queens went from $10 to $50.
Yeah.
So, you know, the price of everything, not only are they losing more, but the price of replacing it's gone way up.
Let's take a phone call here. Well, let's go to Donnie. Donnie, good morning.
Good morning.
Hi, Donnie.
Yeah, I've got a couple questions about bees.
Sure.
Okay, why don't everybody put bees on their roof like they did it? And can't you, like, take the DNA from the bees, the good bees, and store them in a freezer or something until we need them and use them that way?
So that if we start losing a lot of bees, we would have a means to
replenish them.
Maybe replenish genetic. Well, that's twofold. Good questions. I mean, the first one, in terms of beekeeping, can you keep bees anywhere? I mean, now, why doesn't everyone keep? It's not for everyone, all right? But
yeah, it's not for everyone.
Yeah.
And if you want to get into it, I'd suggest that you go find a beekeeper. You know,
there's
go
all
to a
kinds
local
of beekeeping associations. Wilson County Beekeeping Association, terrific. Most of the counties have that.
There's about 40 now across the state. So about half the counties.
And the people involved in those, as you well know, they are great.
Yeah, you find a beekeeping association and get with the local beekeeper and go out and work with them for a year before you even buy anything except for a veil and a pair of gloves. And that way, you know whether you want to do it or not. That's the best way to get started.
But you don't have to have. I mean, some people may think, well, don't I have to have a farm, or don't I have to have, 5-6 acres? I know people that have a single beehive and they live in a subdivision and it's in their backyard. They do have some space. It's not right on top of each other, but it's not like you have bees flying around stinging. People have this image like, oh, well, my neighbors are going to hate that. Yeah. It's just not the case.
It's not the case. Most of the time, if the neighbor doesn't know they're there, if you've got a privacy fence around your property, if they don't see the actual colony, there's no problem. It's when they see it that fear kicks in their head that something's going to happen.
Right.
And it's not a problem as long as you're keeping gentle bees. And there's best management practices that we have on our website, that people can go and look up, and that's what several cities are adopting. Clarksville adopted it. Signal Mountain adopted it a couple of years ago. Adopted the best management practices, saying the beekeepers have to abide by the best management practices to keep bees within the city limits.
Okay. And what are the primary guidelines in general for practices? I don't even.
There's a number of colonies you can have for the amount of property that you've got. Distance from inhabited dwellings, unless you have some kind of barrier, things like that. Providing a water source, just general. Common sense type stuff. And it's following the same stuff that Florida, North Carolina, West Virginia, several other states have done. There's actually a law in Tennessee that says that no city, municipality, or government entity can pass a law restricting beekeeping. They can zone it out. But with that, it was put in place. You mentioned Africanized bees before. It was put in place because of Africanized bees, because we want to make sure we keep Africanized bees out of the state of Tennessee.
And we should say, and I'm glad you segued to that, because some people may see the hive, and the first thing they're going to think about is, oh, Africanized aggressive bees. First of all, are there Africanized bees in Tennessee?
No.
Okay. They did appear once through a bizarre circumstance, and you and I did a story on it. A few years back.
It was 2012.
Talked about that. 2012. It was something they didn't migrate here naturally. They were sent here in a package that had been ordered, correct? And if you would, tell me how this guy knew they were Africanized and how this went down. It's an interesting story.
Basically, he went out and got into his bees, opened them up, and was instantly covered up with bees.
Yeah, what you just saw on the video up on the roof there, when you typically open a hive, they're going to kind of just buzz around you. It's nothing crazy. That's totally normal what you saw in the story earlier. But this, they just
Yeah, you basically look down in there and all you see is drones and the queen left in the colony. Every worker bee in there's come out.
Incredibly aggressive.
Yeah, incredibly aggressive.
Okay, so had he not been wearing a suit, that would have been a big problem.
Yeah, he would have been in trouble.
Yeah, but they came all over him. He's like, this is not normal. Something's wrong. Turns out these bees had about a 20%.
Yeah, it was about a 21%.
Hybridized of Africanized in the system, including the gene to be aggressive.
Yeah, they obviously had that one.
Yeah. So you had to go after them, get them, and destroy them.
Yeah. We euthanized the colony, and then I had to trap for almost a year
to make sure
within a 2-mile radius of that area to make sure there wasn't any of the genetics left out there, and there was none. So,
yeah, you cleared it from here. Now the concern, of course, is that they've seen some Africanized bees more in Florida, right? So
yeah, the whole, pretty much from Tampa Bay down.
Okay.
Is Africanized. Almost all of Texas, New Mexico, Arizona, Nevada.
How are they getting rid of those? And I guess we were talking during the break about the importance of having the more docile European or Russian bees, right? That you have to keep them away.
Yeah, the way you control them is you saturate an area with European bees.
Okay.
And you outcompete the Africanized bees. And that's the problem they had in Florida. Is as soon as they came in Florida, the first thing the city and the county did, where they came in, Tampa Bay, and I believe it was Henderson County, was they outlawed beekeeping. So they figured, okay, if we outlaw beekeeping, there won't be any bees.
Mistake.
So we won't have Africanized bees because we've outlawed beekeeping. Well, what happened was the Africanized bees populated the area at a rate of 200 colonies per square mile.
Wow.
And if you do that on a map, each step, it's like every second or third house has one, and they get in things as small as bluebird houses. They'll get in your rain gutters.
And then they're stinging you like crazy.
Yeah. And they're highly aggressive. If you start a weed eater up, they're going to come from.
Yeah, I can't imagine that.
300 yards.
A safety issue down there.
It is a safety issue.
Yeah.
And when they find them, they eradicate them. And that's the big business for some people down in Florida now, is eradicating Africanized bees.
And it's still an issue.
Yeah, it's still an issue. It's a public safety issue, and that's why we have it, that we want bees in town, and we want them at the rate of anywhere between 2 and 10 colonies per square mile. That's all it takes for European bees to outcompete.
And they're not aggressive. I want to talk more about the importance of that. Let's take a real quick call from Marie. Hi, Marie.
Hi.
Hey, good morning.
Yes, good morning. I have a quick question, and I don't know if this is kind of a silly question, but we have a big backyard in our house, home, and we were thinking about doing kind of a natural fence. Would it help in any way if we plant maybe bushes or plants or flowers that attract bees and kind of, I don't know, offer some sort of natural environment for them? Or would that not make absolutely anything because we don't have a hive?
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, what kind of plants do they like? I've heard of bee balm.
Yeah, bee balm's good. There's a lot of plants. You can go on the web and you can look. I forget the name of the website now.
Bee balm. It's like Bee Balm's one that I've heard of.
NCRS, National Conservation Resource Services, has a website where they have a list of plants for each biome, and Tennessee has, I think, 5 different ones going across the state, and they'll give you native plants that you can plant for that kind of stuff.
Well, and the idea, even if you don't, her call's good, because even if you don't have a beehive, to attract bees to your yard is not a bad thing, because they are going, your flowers are going to do great, your garden's going to go great, right? I mean, they're pollinating everything.
Yeah, they're pollinating everything, and that's one of the big issues they say is a problem too, is nutrition, is bees getting on single source food sources, like big crop fields. There's an initiative to plant bee forage across the nation on public lands. And planting it on private lands would be a great idea too. I mean, we've got people around here that are doing it.
Yeah.
And you can also get into most of the seed catalogs. If you look at them, when you look at the plant, as you're looking at the seed, it'll tell you whether it's attractive to bees or butterflies. And things like that. Those are the ones you want to plant. You want to plant something that blooms all the way through the year, from as early as you can get something blooming, say January, February, March, all the way through December, especially July through September.
Yeah.
Because in Tennessee, we have kind of a dearth of nectar in July through September. That's when we have the least amount of nectar coming in.
Yeah, that's right. You sometimes think, I mean, it's the middle of summer, not the case, but no, there's not as much for them to feed.
There's not as much there.
Let's take a call from Robert. Hi, Robert.
Hello.
Good morning. What's on your mind?
Well, I had a wild colony, I reckon, I've had for about 2 years in an old hole in one of my oak trees off my porch.
Yeah.
I was just wondering how to, will they be there for a long time? Or, I mean, they don't bother anything, but will they ever get any honey?
Yeah, they're not a problem then for you. It's not like you want them to be removed, correct?
Oh, no, I
Good.
like them. I sit there and mow around them. I mean, sit there. They go to my neighbor's Amish gardens over here.
Yeah,
and,
that's awesome. And you're sure they're honeybees, right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. All right, good. Yeah. I'm sure they are. If they were yellow jackets, you would have known.
Yeah.
So what about that? Bees, we talk about the hives that we maintain, but in the absence of that in nature, they're going to find a hole in a tree.
Yeah, that's what we had before we had all these. Before we had the varroa mites and the colony collapse disorder.
Yeah.
There were approximately 2 to 5 colonies per square mile across the state.
Okay.
And that's a large number of bees. Right now, we've lost all the wild colonies, or the majority of the wild colonies. We're starting to get some resistance to some of this stuff, so we're getting some wild colonies back.
Good.
Most of the time, the ones that are living in the wild, living in trees, or living in somebody's house, in the wall, they'll last maybe 2 years, and then they'll die out.
Oh, that's a shame.
We'll get calls from people saying that if I've had them for 10 years, well, they've been there the whole time. Well, they kind of disappeared one spring, then they were there later in the summer. So what happened there was they died out, and another colony came back in and retook it. But you're not going to get any honey. Like he was saying, can I get any honey out of that tree? He's not going to get any honey out of that tree unless it cuts the tree down and cuts in there.
Which you wouldn't want to do. But the bottom line is that there probably is space down there. They've probably built comb within it, and and that's down there, and they're making. And if they've been there 2 years, good. Is there anything he can do to assist them? I guess maybe plant some of the vegetation that the last caller asked about.
Yeah.
Just take care of them.
Yeah, the bushes and trees are really, to me, are better because they supply more to the bees. Everybody wants to plant clover. Clover's good, but you need a big field of clover to equal what, say, like a vitex bush. A vitex bush, they say that it produces a ton honey per acre.
Per acre, okay.
For the bushes that you plant.
Wow.
And that's a lot.
What kind of plant?
It's vitex. V-I-T-E-X.
Okay.
It's not native. It's from Asia.
Not native. Okay.
Yeah, it's kind of like a butterfly bush.
Okay, which I love those. They're beautiful. All right, listen, we'll take a break on that. Now we come back, more of your calls, and get into the details of that. Caller wants to protect the bees that are on his property. Now, what if you have one that you have to have removed, and what is the law as it pertains to whether or not you can harm bees, which you just shouldn't do, whether it's the law or not. We'll take a break and be back with more right after this.